Hello and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers at ebayscavengers.com. This is episode number 71 and I'm Ryan. I'm here with Jay.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi. And we are talking about what's going on in our store this week.
How are you doing, Ryan?
Good. I'm doing great.
Good. I'm feeling a little bit frazzled, to be honest with you.
Frazzled about our store?
I think just because it's the holidays and we've really been trying to push into overdrive the past since we came back from overseas. We've just been taking pictures and listing every single day. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
like crazy.
You've done a great job. I mean, we're almost at 3,000 items in our store.
Right. We are on the edge of having 3,000 items in our store.
And the good thing is our sales have been reflecting that. So last week we made about $2,100, which to me is great. I mean, anytime we can make $2,000 in a week, like that's really what I like to see.
Now, a good thing has been we've been putting up high dollar items.
Yep.
We have a lot of medium dollar items and low dollar items as well, but our high dollar items like lamps, wool blankets, things like that I'll put up. Some paintings we had up for over $100. We had this like old fashioned coffee grinder we sold for over $200. I mean, those are the kinds of items you pay a little more for them,
right? But
you make a lot more.
Yeah, I think like as we've been selling, I guess we've been selling pretty steadily since 2008. So we're in our like fourth or fifth year of like steady selling. And we've always said, $30 items are our bread and a butter. And still,
they are.
That's a truth. But I think the longer we've been doing this, the more we've been finding more expensive items because we've really been getting into areas where I never thought I'd be selling, like vintage radios and, like a luggage and carpets, things that I would always overlook. And now we actually seek those things out.
And the reason we would overlook them is, number one, price, because sometimes you pay more for those things.
Right.
And number two, not willing to ship them.
Right.
So I had this big, I'm looking at it right now, this big goose down king size comforter. And I was like, this thing is a monster, But you know what? I just made how much? I made $115 on it.
Right.
And it fit in my big poly mailer.
Right.
I squished that thing and it fit in. So it wasn't that bad.
And that's something that I would have never bought when we began. I saw it. It looked cool. It was $8.
It was $8, which is a little high for Scavengers.
Right. But, I was like, it's Ralph Lauren.
Right, it was Ralph Lauren.
Goose down, and it's king size. And now I know people pay big money for sheet sets. Yep. And it's so crazy to me. I never thought I'd be the guy selling sheet sets.
Now, that is a good thing to mention, that, and we've talked about this before, linens. And not always just like vintage linens, but just regular sheet sets that are in good shape. I mean, if you've bought sheet sets for your own house, that stuff is expensive. So if you can find a high quality comforter or sheet set that's in good shape. Yep. I mean, I sold that thing for $115.
Or like we said, rugs, like really nice rugs or cotton, those like thin cotton kitchen rugs.
Yeah, I have this I had this cotton kitchen runner. My mom's gonna kill me because I think she gave it to me when we first started our house. But we hadn't used it, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw it up on eBay. It was a thin cotton runner. And I sold it for $50.
Yep.
So, people like that stuff. Linens, fabric, things like that.
And we just sold, I think it's mentioned it's before. I was at a yard sale and some guy was selling all his Dungeons and Dragons books.
Oh yeah, D&D books.
And I talked him down to $15 for a big stack of these things, and Ryan couldn't figure out.
He paid $15 and I was ready to kill him. I was like, $15?
And we just sold his last one over a period of maybe 4 months or something, and we were selling for $30 and $40 each.
I think I sold one of them for $50 because it was really rare.
Right.
So these early 1980s, it was like 1979 and through 1981.
It's my childhood.
Dungeons and Dragons books, and I think we had like 8 of them.
Right.
And we paid $15, and I sold one of them for $50. We sold that last one for $30. Right. It was like, I'll never say no to D&D books again.
Yep. They're hard to find.
Yeah, they're fun. it is Cyber Monday today when we're recording this, and it's been kind of a slow day.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I think for anyone new who is hearing this, so I think if you're like us and you're still on eBay and you're selling one-of-a-kind items that you're scavenging, oftentimes older, I think we've learned that these kind of like big holidays, these shopping days like Cyber Monday, aren't really that big of a deal for us, because on these kind of days is when people are really buying like flat screen TVs, iPhones, and brand new toys. I find like the kind of stuff that we sell, people aren't really, it's not on a list of theirs. Our kind of store is for the people who are just casually surfing eBay
all the time.
Right. They're designing their house and they're looking for housewares and art and decorations.
Right.
That's the stuff that we sell.
Or unique clothes.
So I don't really get down anymore when like a day like this is just a normal day. Like we've still done pretty good. You know?
So if you click, like eBay has this thing that says Cyber Monday Deal Frenzy, right? So you click on that, it's all electronics.
Yeah, like
that's it. It's
first thing is like a Google Android iPad thing, and digital cameras.
It's all tablets. Yeah. So for us, today I was like, yeah, Cyber Monday. Yeah, whatever. Like it was totally a normal day, kind of actually a slow day. So
but again, we always say it's always about the monthly average.
Right.
So I think on a Sunday we had a slow day. We sold like $40 its worth of stuff, which is slow for us.
Yeah, it's pretty slow.
But then we'll have another day where we'll sell $400. So as long as on the average for a month we're hitting a monthly average, which we like to be between $250 and $300 a day, then that makes me feel good. So it's always about having a big picture, and I think we get a lot of like comments or messages through the blog from people, and it seems like sometimes there's like a lot of sadness and a lot of like loneliness, or people working at home alone feeling like they're just spinning their wheels or something. And I just always got to tell people, you just got to have the big picture of things.
Right.
If you're able to work from home.
Yes.
You're your own boss. One day may be slow. Another day may be big. So
but you just have to keep going.
Smooth it out.
Like today, we had to do a bunch of things in town, and we were in all these different offices. I swear, we were in 5 offices today. Actual like office buildings with fluorescent lights. And we just, at the end of the day, we were thinking, wait, those people are there in those offices all day long, every day.
Right.
It's just, I love the freedom of eBay. I'm not just sitting at, someone's desk who owns me.
And then, after we did all these office visits, we hit a couple of thrift stores. And it's one of those days where you go in these thrift stores and you're getting a bunch of stuff and none of it seems really exciting. And then you come home and you plop it out on the floor. And then you actually start pulling out what you actually found. And we had a pretty amazing day.
Oh, my God. I found this chair. It's so funny. We were in this Goodwill. And I am down on Goodwills now only because, like, they just get shopped so much. And you can't find that much stuff. So we're in the back of the Goodwill where all the, like, furniture is and stuff. And I looked at this chair, and it was this office chair. It just looks like any other office chair. And I kept looking at it, and Jay walked away, and he's like looking at other stuff, and I just keep looking at this office chair, and I'm like, something's up with this. It's old, like it's Danish modern. It's something. So I flipped it over. Jay came over and flipped it over, and actually it had a price tag of $2, and we looked it up, and it's actually like it's worth like $120, $150 online.
It's like one of the early, like a modern.
Yeah, Danish, made in Copenhagen.
From like the 1973 or something.
Yeah, like 1970s.
Yep.
And it was just so funny because that's when you realize that you've seen this stuff enough that like it just looks like a regular office chair, but I was like, something's up with this. There's something different about it.
And so
it was $2.
Of course, the first question I ask is, how are you going to ship that? But you already had a plan.
I already had a plan because the top screws off.
Yeah.
And if I have a big enough box and some bubble wrap, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But, I guess that's kind of our next thing. We bought this really big antique. It's called a hall tree. And it's like this big thing where you have like a little bench that you can store stuff in, and then it has this big mirror on top that you can like hang stuff on hooks. And we spent quite a bit of money. I mean, but this thing's from the late 1800s.
You bought it for $150.
$150, right?
Yep.
They wanted $375 for it, but we said $150 and they said yes.
Yep.
But we're kind of moving into furniture type things.
So it's our gamble to see if we can't turn $150 and sell it for $1,000
or more.
I'm
hoping $1,500.
Well, I mean, that seems absolutely ridiculous to me, but we're gonna see.
But if you look at it after I put this like furniture polish on it, it looks amazing.
Right. And if you're a scavenger like us, that's what you have to always be doing. Well, you don't have to, but that's what makes this exciting, is that you try different experiments, Right. I mean, we could just stick with selling only shoes. Right. And some people only do that shoes. And make a living from it.
Only jackets.
To us, that would get very boring.
Yeah.
It's too predictable and not as exciting. And we like to try and seek out different things that we've never really thought of, and to see how much money we could actually make from something.
Yeah, like I had that sewing machine, and
I
think I bought it for $50. I originally bought it for myself, and then I was terrible at sewing on a treadle sewing machine. Yeah. And I sold it for $950, which to me, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm going to get this price. And I did.
Right. But I mean, that being said, I think that there are different kinds of sellers, and we're the kind of sellers where it's almost like every sale is a brand new event, because these are one-of-a-kind items. Like, we're never going to find something like that again, or very,
very rare.
There are other sellers that really like the predictability. They want to be able to find a wholesaler that's going to sell them 10,000 widgets. They're going to buy them for, it's 50 cents. They're going to sell them for $1. They don't have a huge markup, but they only have to list it one time, and then it's just ship.
Right.
So it's just two different ways of doing things. But as far as like being a scavenger,
right,
part of the fun is the hunt. And also, that being said, experiments are good, but we always have to gauge how many experiments we have going at one time. Like we do always try and keep a good number of things that we know it will sell, that keep our engines going,
I think also we're willing to evolve and change, and once you do an experiment, to learn quickly, okay, that was a great experiment, but I don't think I want to do it again. Like our sink experiment. Right. Like we're selling these bunch of sinks. We have like a couple left over, but I don't think we would do that experiment again because...
Well, let's explain the experiment. So, the experiment was where we bought... It's 15 of these huge Kohler sinks in the box.
Designer sinks.
We bought them for $15 each.
Yeah.
And we've been slowly selling them over the course of a year for between $100 and $400.
Right.
So it's great, but it takes up a lot of space.
Takes more time.
Yeah.
But the great thing is we made a lot of money on it. That's fine. I don't think we would do it again.
Yeah.
That's all. You just have to be willing to do it and come out. And
I'd do it again.
You do not? Oh, we think, okay, hey, I'll let you pack those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's all about being willing to change, do experiments, try things out, because you never know. You might really find something that's like a crazy, good seller that no one else is looking at.
Right. And I think the other thing is, what we've been doing with, sometimes I feel like we're just selling to sell, and it's like this endless cycle because we never really talk about the back end. So when we make it's money, we talked about we're redoing another house.
A farmhouse.
That we're going to rent out as income. The other thing we do is we like to pay our bills. Like, we really hate having debt. So like Ryan had to have like a dental...
I had dental work done that was quite expensive,
and it was like $2,000. So we've been paying. We're going to pay that off, and
we paid off our credit card mostly.
Yep.
A couple months ago. We had a credit card bill from doing work on the house,
right? Because we had bought a bunch of materials,
and we paid the crap out of that thing.
So I think it's always important to remember as scavengers that part of this deal is to try and get down to where you don't owe anybody anything.
Right. That's the idea. Like, sometimes, like you're saying, it feels like an endless cycle because we have been working on a house,
right,
an active, very expensive project. So you're like, I think that's where, for me, the feeling frazzled feels, because we've been paying out a lot of money.
Right.
But when you have that extra money and you can do cool things with it, you know, you've paid your bills, you're good to go, you can do something fun, you know, take a trip.
Yep.
That's the best. So
that is the best.
You know. So, okay, moving on. We have questions from people.
Okay, so this week's question was, it's with the year ending, a tax episode would be interesting, and Daryl asked that. We actually did an episode 50, where we talk in depth about how we do accounting and bookkeeping for your eBay store taxes.
So I will link to that in the notes.
And just kind of a short, it's brief overview of that. We actually use something called Outright. It's actually called now GoDaddy Bookkeeping.
Which is a ridiculous name, I'll say.
Well, it got bought out by GoDaddy.
Yeah.
But basically, it's like one of these sites. There are others of them like it too, but where you get an account and it's free. The part of it's free, and you enter in your bank account and your PayPal account, your eBay account, and then it sucks all that info in and then makes it very easy to organize all that stuff. And you kind of teach it the things that are expenses and the things that are income, so it starts doing that automatically. So then at the end of the year, when we get ready to give our numbers to our accountant, it makes all the expenses really easy.
Right. So you're able to categorize it and say, okay, these are all my expenses and my deductions, and this is how much I owe, or this is how much they owe me, or whatever. So,
and we've used it 2 years in a row now.
I think this is going to be the second year we used Outright. Yeah.
But it really worked for us last year, because we were one of those people where, you know, if you make over $20,000 in a year, PayPal automatically sends that info to the IRS.
Right. You can't get out of it.
You know, I'm not saying people should ever not pay their taxes, but if you make under $20,000, they really just hope that you're going to be honest about it. But after that,
right,
they're going to come after you. So we were like, oh my God, we have to pay all this money. So that's why expenses is really important. All the postage, all your postage, all your eBay fees, all your PayPal fees, any mileage you put on your car going to the post office or going thrift store shopping, all that, pretty much all our mileage is work. So I would love to hear in the comments if anyone uses another kind of a service.
Yeah.
But Outright / GoDaddy Bookkeeping, for me, I really like, because I can daily check on it and I can see how much is in our PayPal account.
Right.
I can see how much is in our other bank accounts, and I can see as expenses are being taken out. So
okay, next question. Are your items on 30-day listings or good till canceled? And that was from Carrie. Now, we do good till canceled, and that means basically your item just stays listed forever until it's purchased. But 30-day listings end and then restart themselves automatically. I mean, I would do it automatically.
I mean, for us, it's just, because storage isn't a problem for us, so we just put it on good till canceled and let it ride.
Yeah.
Everything eventually sells. I mean, we do have a handful of like these black sheep objects that have been in the store for like 4 years now that we just refuse to take down because we took the time to put it up. You know what? They cost us 3 cents a month to keep up. I mean, you know, so even if it takes 4 years to sell, we'll still make a small profit. So,
and now some people think that 30-day listing is gonna refresh your listing and it goes back to the top of the search rankings. And I've tried that, and I have not found it to be true at all.
I've seen in eBay forums, there's all this like people like talk about it like it's a dark magic secret, and they say, okay, look, what you want to do is let your items end at the end of every month, and then you relist them as brand new items, as if they've never been on eBay, and eBay then thinks it's like some other special new item, and then it puts you way up in its rankings. So we're like, all right, we'll try any experiment. No one could have ever give us any proof, so we thought we would do an experiment, and Ryan actually spent a day canceling 2,000 items and relisting all the items as if they were new, and zero.
Nothing. I did not see any difference.
We sold things like we normally do, and there was no evidence that sparked any more sales than anything else. So to me, it's just like a lot of mojo that people are trying to do. Everyone loves like search engine optimization.
I mean, the other thing too, for me personally, I do not have time to do that. I mean, I have 3,000 items in my store.
Yeah.
I don't have time. So good till canceled.
Yeah. I think the work you want to put in is in the initial listing. Take the time to take really good photos. Take the time to put really good keywords in your title. Take the time to describe it, all the good parts, and to accurately talk about any flaws. I mean, that's really the mojo.
Right.
And so
doing it right.
That's not magic. That's just logic, you know?
Yeah.
Anything else when you're trying to trick eBay into putting you higher in the rankings, I don't know. It just seems like too much extra work. I could be putting up more items.
Right. Okay, we have another, it's a suggestion from Adam from the Mysterious Caravan, who you've all heard on our show before. He says, you might want to mention at some point in time that when using the global shipping program, you as a seller or the buyer themselves can calculate the shipping right on the listing page based on the country being shipped to. I didn't realize this was a thing, and when customers from specific countries asked how much shipping would be to their locations, I had no idea what to tell them because I knew that the global shipping program would just send them an invoice after they bought it. After a call to the global shipping team, I now know that the calculator exists, and I would not have known that otherwise. And we have had this forever, and I remember Mikey saying it drove him crazy. People, even not from the global shipping program, how much is it to ship to Michigan? How much is it to ship to California?
Or Russia.
Or Russia, or wherever. And every single listing has a shipping calculator on it. Okay, so on your listing, underneath the photos, there is a little tab that says shipping. They don't make it very obvious. I don't know why. It's a very important part of the listing. I feel like there should be like 4 different buttons that tell you how to do it. And then you can change your country or change your zip code. It doesn't matter who you are. You can type in any country or any zip code to give your customer that information. I use it several times a day. And you can also say, hey, it's on the listing, but here's the information. That's what we always do. So, yes, that's a great thing to know. It's all on the page.
Yeah. And, I know some sellers get angry when a buyer asks what is seemingly a very obvious question.
Right.
Like, at least once a day, we get a question from someone. How long is the sleeve of that coat?
Right.
And it's clearly written in our description, but we don't get angry about it.
Right.
We just we'll just copy and paste it into an email. And you know what? 30% of the time, they're going to buy it,
Right.
And the rest, it's just imagine you're in a store and just there are people that kind of wander in, they ask some random questions and they wander out. And you never know who's going to actually buy from you. So
the other thing, too, is for the shipping thing, I don't know how obvious it is on mobile. So that might be a reason why someone might be asking for shipping. I don't know. I would have to look on the mobile app and see if it calculates it. So that could be another determining factor for those questions. So
cool. Well, that's it for the questions this week. And
send us more questions. We have the little thing on the sidebar.
If you aren't a listing, just shut up and start to list.
Just shut up and list. That's the mojo. That's the magic.
That's right.
Is just putting the work in.
That's right.
That's it.
Bye.